Hello, knowledge seekers. In this episode of 20-Minute Books, we delve into The 3-Minute Rule by Brant Pinvidic. This enlightening guide is a must-read for anyone striving to convey an idea, sell a product, or pitch a project with a persuasive punch in the shortest possible time. In today's fast-paced world, attention spans are short, and time is a luxury. Pinvidic, an accomplished television producer and corporate consultant, presents the intriguing premise that the fate of your pitch is sealed within the first 3 minutes. This is not just theory, but a strategy honed by successfully pitching over 300 TV and movie projects, including hit shows like Bar Rescue and Extreme Makeover Weight Loss Edition. The 3-minute rule provides a step-by-step blueprint on how to craft an effective pitch. Pinvidic shares a wealth of insights to help you capture your audience's attention, build a compelling narrative, and position your idea or offering as the solution to their needs, all within the golden 3-minute window. This book isn't just for those in business or the entertainment industry, although they will find it particularly valuable. No matter who you are, if you ever find yourself needing to convince someone of something, an employer, a potential client, or even a date, then the 3-minute rule is for you. So join us as we explore the art of persuasion, distilled into 3 compelling minutes. Happy listening. Happy. The 3-minute rule. Say less to get more from any pitch or presentation. Introduction. Unlock the power of persuasion in just 3 minutes. Consider the humble 3 minutes. It's barely enough to whip up a quick sandwich or scroll through your email inbox. Yet, according to Brant Pinvidic, these brief moments are all you need to execute an effective pitch. Whether you're selling an innovative idea, an exciting product, a much-needed service, or your own business, 3 minutes is all the time you need. Does that sound unbelievable? You wouldn't be the first to express doubt. CEOs of top companies to small entrepreneurs, many have approached Brant for guidance, all of them believing their topics were too intricate to condense. But time and time again, Brant proves that 3 minutes is not only enough, it is perfect. His methodology might raise some eyebrows, but it's born from years of experience. Over a career spanning 2 decades in the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, Brant Pinvidic has navigated nearly 10,000 pitches. Through this exposure, he's honed a strategy that invariably delivers results. This strategy has sold over 300 TV and movie projects, each one pitched in under 3 minutes, all utilizing the principles you're about to explore. In this narrative, you'll delve into why a modern audience is won over in only 3 minutes, how to make each second of those 3 minutes count, and the surprising role of something called a butt funnel. Part 1. The powerful persuasion of a 3-minute pitch. Picture this: you're preparing for a crucial meeting with potential investors, partners, or collaborators. Your idea or product is an absolute game changer. You can see its potential. However, the challenge lies in convincing your listeners, who at this point know next to nothing about what you're offering. Common sense might suggest that you should arm yourself with an elaborate hour-long presentation filled to the brim with engaging animations, witty one-liners, and sophisticated catchphrases. You might even prepare by brushing up on public speaking and persuasion techniques. This age-old approach, however, is fundamentally flawed. In fact, your success might rely on doing the exact opposite. Ditch the complex PowerPoint presentation, forget about the embellishments, and stop overthinking your delivery. Focus instead on delivering your key points as succinctly and lucidly as possible, within a strict 3-minute time limit. Why just 3 minutes? The hyper-connected digital world we inhabit is ceaselessly bombarding us with information, advertisements, and incessant calls for our attention, shrinking our attention spans and exhausting our patience. Audiences today have no time for irrelevant chatter or meaningless gimmicks, and they are quick to determine whether your message is of any value to them. You might have a full hour scheduled for your pitch, but within the first 3 minutes, your listeners have already started forming an impression, inclining either towards approval or disapproval. Any subsequent discourse will merely reinforce their preliminary judgment. Should they perceive your pitch positively, they'll be open to learning more and will attentively listen to what you have to say. However, should their initial assessment be negative, any further effort is unlikely to sway them. Thus, the 3-minute rule is more than just an idea. It's a powerful attention-harnessing guideline that determines whether you make or break your pitch. Will you leverage this 3-minute window of opportunity and shape your pitch to maximize success? Or will you disregard it, risking its potential benefits? The decision lies in your hands. Part 2. The cascade effect of the 3-minute rule. Now imagine a more distressing scenario that arises when the 3-minute rule is violated. This is what occurs, even under the best circumstances, when your pitch goes over time. Visualize this. You're making a business proposition to representatives from a company, and your pitch draws on for a whole hour. Yet, you miraculously keep them engaged throughout. So far, it appears to be a success. But here's the catch. They are likely not the sole decision makers for your proposal. They'd need to persuade their own team, the legal advisors, the finance department, before proceeding with your idea. Therefore, the fate of your pitch doesn't rely solely on your direct audience's approval, but also on how effectively they pass it on to the other members of their team. If the legal team rejects the idea, all your efforts are futile. Now remember, your pitch serves as the foundation for their subsequent pitches. The information they derive from your presentation will be the basis of their persuasion. By delivering a lengthy pitch, you inadvertently hamper their ability to deliver an effective presentation. The elaborate 1-hour pitch, no matter how brilliant, will not be retained by your audience in its entirety. They're likely to forget crucial details and misconsciously remember others. Moreover, they won't have the luxury of time to repeat everything you've presented. When Jerry from Legal casually asks for a rundown of your proposition during a quick corridor chat, he isn't prepared to lend an hour. In those rushed 3 minutes, your audience will attempt to piece together the fragmented recollections of your proposal and communicate them. As a result, Jerry is left more bewildered than convinced. But what if your original pitch was crisp, memorable, and wrapped up within 3 minutes? Chances are, Jerry would be far more inclined to back your proposal, and your idea would be one step closer to realization. The key takeaway? Regardless of the situation, your pitch needs to hit the mark within 3 minutes. Part 3. Curate your words to craft an effective 3-minute pitch. You might be pondering, surely 3 minutes isn't enough to communicate all the crucial elements of your proposal. How can all the necessary details fit within a fleeting 3-minute presentation? The honest truth is, they don't. The art of creating a concise pitch lies in careful content selection. It's paramount to recognize the clear difference between what you believe is vital to express and what truly requires voicing during your pitch. Many of us fall into the trap of attempting to communicate every minute detail. For instance, consider you're the founder of a startup, pitching to potential investors. You might feel compelled to delve into every facet of your company, the what, the how, and the why. You're the expert, intimately familiar with every intricate detail of your company and how they interconnect. In your mind, these details weave together to form a complex tapestry of information. The more threads you trace, the more complex it seems, and the more you feel the need to present this complexity to your audience. However, this approach risks creating a lengthy, convoluted presentation that might just lull your audience to sleep rather than spark interest. Here's the critical factor to remember. The majority of these details aren't pertinent to your audience at this stage. The goal of your pitch is to pique their interest in your company and make them want to know more. To do this, you need to present a compelling overview that invites further curiosity. After they're intrigued by the general concept, they will seek further information. This is when the detailed discourse can unfold, during follow-up presentations or a Q&A session. Starting with details before the audience has grasped the core concept is akin to putting the cart before the horse. In the sections that follow, we'll explore how you can take the reins, guide the horse, and direct your pitch towards a successful destination. Part 4. A potent pitch should address 4 key queries. What is it? how does it function, is it credible, and can it be done? Theoretically, the goal of a 3-minute pitch appears rather straightforward. Essentially, you need to capture and communicate the core idea of the subject of your pitch in a compelling way. However, achieving this in practice can be quite the challenge. How does one go about effectively delivering such a pitch? While the precise details are subjective to your topic and audience, there is a universal blueprint that you can adopt. The crux is, by the conclusion of your pitch, your audience should have clarity on 4 fundamental aspects of what you're pitching. The first pair of queries are, what is it and how does it function? Answering these basic questions enables your audience to visualize the subject of your pitch. This understanding is the first step towards gaining their buy-in. After all, they won't commit to something they don't comprehend. For example, if you're pitching a new invention to potential investors, they would need to know what it does, its purpose, potential market, operation method, manufacturing process, and so on. In responding to what it is and how it works, you'll be making certain strong declarations about what you're pitching. Naturally, your audience will expect proof. This brings us to the third question. Is it credible? To answer this, you'll present facts and figures that substantiate the claims you've made. For instance, if you've asserted that the potential market for your invention is of a certain size, you'd provide data to endorse this. By now, your audience should comprehend how and why the subject of your pitch represents a viable opportunity for them. But there's one final question that needs addressing. Can it be done? For instance, while your invention may seem to be an ingenious idea based on your responses to the preceding questions, do you possess the capability to commercialize it? By answering this question, you provide your audience the reassurance they need that you can actualize the proposal you've put forth. So there you have it, the 4 pivotal questions that shape a powerful pitch. In the upcoming sections, we'll delve deeper into how to effectively respond to these queries. Part 5. Reframe the 4 cardinal questions of your pitch to address a variety of pertinent queries. Imagine being featured in a magazine interview, and the interviewer tosses the first question your way. Who are you? Now, if you confine your response strictly to the wording of the query, you may simply state your name, a rather uninteresting reply. However, if you opt to interpret it in broader terms, you could describe your persona, discuss your principles, or even present a succinct narrative of your life journey. A far more engaging response. A similar philosophy applies to the questions that your pitch aims to address. To extract maximum value from them, you must demonstrate flexibility in your interpretation of these questions. In essence, you need to reimagine them as other closely related queries that resonate with what you're pitching and the audience you're addressing. For instance, let's take the first question. What is it? At this point, you should consider the range of queries your audience may have about the nature of what you're pitching. If it's a service, they may be curious about what problems it resolves, who it benefits, or what sets it apart. If it's a business venture, they may be interested in the potential returns, or why the current timing is opportune for it. Similarly, the query, how does it function, should prompt you to anticipate questions about how you plan to fulfill what you've promised. For example, if you're pitching a project, how much time will it require? What is your proposed approach? What resources can you rely on? Next, the question, is it credible, encapsulates any doubts your audience might harbor about the credibility of your claims. For instance, if you've claimed that your service is the industry's finest, what do your customer reviews reflect? Do you have any statistics to back this? Finally, the question, can it be done, extends to your capability to live up to your commitments. Suppose you assert that you are the ideal person to spearhead a project. Your audience might want insights into your training and background. They may also inquire about how you've managed similar challenges in the past. In a nutshell, that's the strategy for employing lateral thinking while interpreting the 4 fundamental questions your pitch should address. In the next section, we'll delve into how to innovate with your responses. Part 6. Prioritize essential and captivating information in your pitch. Imagine it's the mid-2000s. You are a Hollywood professional preparing to pitch an idea for a TV show to network executives. The show is titled Pirate Master. How do you describe it? Well, the straightforward answer would be that it's a reality competition show akin to Survivor, but set on a pirate ship. However, the more intriguing response would be that Pirate Master is the brainchild of Mark Burnett and could be his next major hit. Now, the name Mark Burnett may not sound familiar to you, but for the executives, it would be the equivalent of a symphony. Back then, Burnett was the most sought-after producer in television, basking in the glory of successful shows like Survivor and The Apprentice. For the executives hearing about Pirate Master for the first time, the fact that Burnett was steering the project would be far more compelling than the show's premise. As you formulate your responses for your pitch, this scenario serves as an excellent guide. It prompts you to discern which information would captivate your audience the most. You'll need to consider this aspect while whittling down your answers into a succinct pitch. For each multitude of queries derived from the 4 primary questions, you should formulate a concise, one-sentence response. Review these sentences and discard the ones that aren't sufficiently interesting or crucial to include in your pitch. Bear in mind that your pitch is restricted to 3 minutes, and you must utilize this time to deliver your most vital and compelling content. Also, avoid sentences that demand extensive explanation. You simply don't have the luxury of time for any aspect that delves too deep into the technicalities of your topic. Reserve these details for your follow-up presentation or a question and answer session when your audience will be more receptive to them. Ultimately, you should trim your content down to 25 sentences. As a general guideline, strive to answer the question, "What is it?" in 9 sentences. "How does it work?" in 7. "Is it credible?" in 6. And "Can it be done?" in 3. The first 2 queries are the most crucial ones to address in your pitch, thus they should receive the most attention. Part 7. The all-important opening for your pitch. By now, you should have a collection of 25 purposefully crafted sentences, each bearing significant information about your pitch. If these were logically arranged and presented, you'd already have a decent 3-minute pitch. However, if you wish to inject life and dynamism into your pitch for maximum impact, there are a few more components you need to integrate. The first among these is your opening. As you kickstart your pitch, your task is to illuminate the audience with your raison d'être. This is the backstory of how and why you plunged into the idea, product, service, or company that you're now pitching to them. You only need a sentence or 2 here, thus aim to encapsulate your entire journey. Primarily, try to pinpoint your eureka moment, the instant when all pieces fell into place and you realized the potential of what you're pitching. To exemplify this, let's refer to the pitch that Brant Pinvidic made for the TV show, Bar Rescue. If you're not familiar, Bar Rescue is a hit reality show where host John Taffer assists in reviving failing bars and nightclubs. Brant's eureka moment unfolded when he discerned something unique about Taffer, his large, flamboyant persona paired with his undeniable industry expertise. Taffer was not merely a TV character, he was a seasoned business owner and consultant in the food and beverage sector. This potent blend of charisma and substance is precisely what contemporary audiences crave. This very blend had catapulted celebrities like Simon Cowell and Gordon Ramsay to success. Hence, Brant infused this realization into his opening. He simply stepped into the room and began, "Good day, everyone. I'm here because I've discovered a talent with an expansive personality, but also profound depth." He then proceeded with his pitch, elaborating on Taffer and outlining the premise of the show that would revolve around him. That was Brant's opening. If you're seeking guidance to identify your own eureka moment, consider these questions. What about your pitch excites you? When did you stumble upon it? What surprised you as you delved deeper into it? Part 8. Anecdotal proof, the callback in your pitch. Think about when you first started believing you were onto something worthwhile, be it an idea, product, service, or company. Now, when did this belief metamorphose into conviction? The response to the first question lays the foundation for your pitch's opening, where you expound on your reason for being. The answer to the second question contributes the next crucial element to your pitch: the callback. This is a juncture in your pitch when you revert to your opening, supplying an anecdote that validates and emphasizes your reason for being. To understand this, let's revisit Brant's pitch for bar rescue. As you may recall, his opening revolved around the notion that John Taffer, the prospective host of the show, possessed an irresistible combo: an exuberant personality coupled with profound professional expertise. After delineating Taffer and the show's premise, Brant performed a callback to his opening, reinforcing it with a simple yet impactful anecdote. Here's the anecdote. One day, as Taffer was presenting Brant with a blueprint for a bar he was designing, he highlighted something termed a butt funnel. Intrigued by the peculiar term, Brant inquired about it. It turns out that a butt funnel is a strategically designed narrow passage in a bar where patrons, in order to pass, must brush against each other. Expert bar designers, like Taffer, consider patrons' foot traffic flow while planning the bar's layout and deliberately incorporate a butt funnel. Why? Because it triggers patrons' endorphins, fostering an atmosphere of intimacy, friendliness, and subtle sexual charge. This atmosphere, in turn, induces patrons to purchase more drinks. By the time Taffer finished his explanation, Brant was utterly convinced. Here was a man who truly knew his industry. So, ponder over when you felt that your belief in what you're pitching transitioned into absolute conviction. It might not involve as catchy a phrase as butt funnel, but a careful exploration of your experiences should unearth a swift and captivating anecdote to share with your audience. Part 9. Tackling the unavoidable, the all is lost moment in your pitch. Have you ever noticed that moment in films where the heroes appear to be teetering on the brink of failure? It's referred to as the all is lost moment. Borrowing from Brant's stint in Hollywood, we'll adopt the same term to describe the next critical component that will catapult your pitch to the top. To construct your own all is lost moment, lay bare a problem that once threatened, or continues to threaten, the success of what you're pitching. Subsequently, narrate to your audience how you conquered that problem or how you plan to overcome it. If, for instance, you were pitching an app, you could disclose a significant technical hitch you encountered during its developmental phase, followed by how you resolved it. The reasoning behind this is straightforward. Your audience isn't naive. They are acutely aware that every significant human endeavor confronts challenges and setbacks, and the path to triumph isn't smooth. If you assert that everything associated with what you're pitching has been, or will be, plain sailing, they'll naturally be suspicious. They'll probe for potential problems, which means they'll be critically evaluating your pitch, instead of receptively absorbing it. It also implies they won't be entirely attuned to you. They'll be mentally meandering, pondering over what you're omitting. Simultaneously, you risk losing your audience's trust, as it might appear as if you're attempting to conceal something. By the time you conclude your presentation, they might harbor resentment towards you. In the meantime, they'd have identified a few problems on their own, placing you in hot water. Their queries will likely be confrontational, and they'll examine your responses with skepticism and criticism. Hence, why not preempt all of this by honestly acknowledging a problem from the outset? The perks of doing so are numerous. You pacify your audience's skeptical inclinations. You quell their criticality up front. You enhance your credibility. You command their attention. You focus them on a problem for which you already possess a solution. In essence, you convert the problem from a prospective liability into an advantage. Alternatively, you could wait for them to question you about it, but by then, they'd have already turned antagonistic. To amplify the influence of this element in your pitch, pose these questions to yourself. What problem are you most fearful your audience might discern? What question are you most apprehensive they might pose? Turn that into your all is lost moment. Stay a step ahead. Don't let it rebound on you. Part 10. Perfecting the finale, your pitch's hook and edge. You've crafted an impressive opening, a compelling callback, and a candid all is lost moment. You're now just 2 steps away from a masterful pitch. These final steps involve identifying your hook and demonstrating your edge. Think of your hook as the feature of your pitch that prompts your audience to exclaim, "Wow, that's incredible." Your edge is what vividly manifests this hook. Let's illustrate this with an example. Jeff, a plumbing company owner, once crafted a pitch. His hook was his company's groundbreaking method of repiping homes, which transformed a substantial renovation into a minor one. His edge was an anecdote that typified how insignificant the renovation became. His team once replaced the pipes of an entire hotel while it continued to accommodate guests. Yes, his team operated that unobtrusively. To unearth your hook, revisit those 25 sentences you penned and pinpoint the one that triggers the highest level of excitement in you. Next, conceive a catchy anecdote to exemplify it. Voila, you have your edge. Discovering your hook and your edge is typically a breeze. The challenge lies in deploying them adeptly. The secret is to resist the urge to lead with your hook. It might be your most potent material, but it requires proper build-up. Let's understand why, using Jeff's case. Suppose Jeff approached his audience and began, "Hello, I'm Jeff. My plumbing company can transform a previously substantial renovation into a minor one. Let me detail how." By adopting this approach, Jeff commences with an audacious yet unsupported claim, necessitating its justification. This positions his audience in a doubting and confrontational frame of mind. They're likely contemplating, "Really? Demonstrate it." In contrast, consider if Jeff first outlined how his company drilled tiny holes in a house's walls, inserted flexible pipes into the existing ones, and abandoned the old pipes, all within a day. By this point, his hook would be almost self-evident, and that's precisely the reaction you aim for with your hook. By the time you've walked your audience through the core idea of what you're pitching, they should be on the verge of remarking, "Wow, that's incredible." With your hook and your edge, you're merely driving home a point they've already begun to appreciate. Final summary. The primary takeaway from our exploration. To captivate and convince a skeptical, shrewd, and time-pressed contemporary audience, your pitch should clock in under 3 minutes. To conceive a compelling pitch that fits into this duration, it should be composed of approximately 25 sentences addressing the subsequent queries. What is it? How does it work? Can we trust it? Can you execute it? To optimize the effectiveness of your pitch, ensure it incorporates an opening, a callback, an all-is-lost moment, a hook, and an edge. Thank you for joining me today on this journey of learning and discovery as we explored the insights of another thought-provoking book in our growing library of knowledge. If you've enjoyed our time together, please take a moment to follow our podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and share 20-minute books with other knowledge seekers. Your support truly means a lot. Don't forget to join me again in the next episode, where we will delve into another enriching book. Until then, happy reading and happy listening.